This is a silent assassin route that I developed for the Bangkok mission in the Hitman Campaign. The first target that I go after often walks through crowded open areas, making him tricky to take down. He eats from a dish in the kitchen. I didn't want to bring poison with me. I had a route at one point where I grabbed the poison from the basement, but I couldn't get the timing to work out. So instead I took him out with a chandelier, which was a bit flaky at first, but I found a coin placement that was fairly reliable. There's a bystander that was also getting hit by the chandelier, so I used coins to move him out of the way. I can't kill bystanders or I lose silent assassin rating. The first coin is near the bar so that only the person in the chair can see it, and the second coin is against the wall so that the target doesn't see it as he walks in the main entrance of the hotel. As I reach the balcony up here, you'll see the target in red walking in the main door, and to his right, a man in a hat picking up a coin. The guy in the hat sits under the chandelier and has to be moved out of the way. The target's bodyguard trails behind enough that he doesn't get hit by the chandelier. Chandelier counts as an accident kill, so it doesn't matter if they find the body. From playing this mission in Freelancer, I know that I'm allowed to run up one floor of this staircase and be in this hallway. At this specific time, there's a guy checking out a plant, which I need to panic so that he moves. He can't see me shoot the camera or exit onto the rooftop. He runs to some nearby guards, and I need to take out the camera and leave before he gets back. I run across this rooftop diagonally, which has two workers standing in the middle of it. I make them look left so I have time to get across. In developing this route, I ran trespassing through so many rooms with 3 or 4 people in them. I found routes through rooms that I didn't even end up using in the final run. I'll show footage of that in the second half of the video. It was frustrating at first, getting seen a lot, but it was very rewarding to find routes through such dense corridors around so many people. I closed the door on my way into this room, and I'm taking a disguise from a non-target. The body never gets found because no one else goes into that room. A neat way between 3 different floors is this pipe outside. You can climb this pipe from the first floor, but the guy I just took out spends a lot of time on the balcony and he sees you. In alternate routes, I started on the first floor and I would shoot the wall to panic that guy so that he wouldn't see me. But ultimately it was faster to get to his room because I could also take his disguise for this 3rd floor. In alternate routes, I'd encounter the second target right here at the top of the stairs and lead him into a nearby room. In this moment, he's at the opposite side, but I was glad there was a nearby room, so it wasn't too slow to take him out. I bump into him so he's looking at me, and then when I run into this room, I'm trespassing. I guess it's his room. I have to make sure that right before the bar fills up, I break line of sight, so that he's interested and comes into the room. If the bar fills all the way up, he gets an exclamation mark above his head and runs to tell a guard without coming into the room. I missed the first shot, so I hid the body just to be safe. This is one of the first times I'd taken him out there, and I wanted to increase the chance I completed the route. It takes me over a minute to get from here to what I think is the closest exit, but it's a fun run because along the way I go through many areas that I had trouble with in previous routes. I did this entire floor in and out while trespassing on earlier routes, so it's a big relief to run through easily with a disguise. Right here before this window, there's a particular enforcer for this disguise that gave me so much trouble on earlier routes. Now I slide down this pipe, past where I got the disguise, all the way to the first floor. I'm gonna enter 2 rooms that have 4 staff members. I came up with such a cool way to trespass through this room from the other direction on earlier routes. Originally, I'd go the other direction in this hallway and use 2 distraction shots to distract 3 people and a guard. The first time I completed a run and ran for an exit, my freelancer knowledge kicked in, and I ran for an exit that doesn't even exist in campaign. There's only 2 exits labeled on the map, and they're outside the hotel, so it seems pretty slow to get to them. I've never done one of those skips where you throw an object down and run over a railing, but that would come in handy here. Maybe I'll try to learn them sometime. A few times I caught the first target outside and I tried to take him out there, but it turns out it's just too open with too many witnesses to distract. It would be neat though if the right number of panic shots allow it to happen. That completes my silent assassin run of Bangkok. Next I'll show my original route, which I think is pretty cool, and some variations that I tried along the way. The first route I attempted goes after the target on the 3rd floor first. I basically trespass in reverse along the route that I just used to exit. The chandelier target is currently outside on this patio on the very right side. I approach this window, and right when that staff member looks down, I can enter without being seen. I tuck myself in that corner and make a shot to allow me to exit the room unnoticed. In the next hallway, I take out a camera because I can't be seen during Silent Assassin. Weaving around these plants, it's easy to avoid the people and the 1 guard in this hallway. At the end of the hallway, I open the door, take out my gun, and make a shot on this pillar to distract 3 people in this hallway. Now there's a guard that would see me, but I make a shot that has to be to the left of that light, or else this staff member hanging out in the doorway wouldn't enter. I need them to enter so I can follow them in and make a shot in the back of the room that makes everyone look there. It's such tight quarters that they hear my gun and the bullet impact, which counts as 2 noises and makes them panic. Those 2 shots against the wall panic the guy standing on the balcony above me and cause him to go inside. Just inside this balcony up here is the annoying enforcer that I was talking about earlier. He's problematic on this run on my way down. On the way up I had to run around to the other side of this floor to avoid him and the guards. I shoot the wall here above this guard's head to slow him down so he doesn't see me on my way to the stairs after this next room. I crouch and weave to avoid the 2 guards inside that room. If I didn't shoot the wall, that guard would be right here and he would see me. You can see him with a question mark when I use my instinct vision there. I catch the target where I want them to be. I would get there too early sometimes, so I waited for him to be in the right position. I wanted him to see me just as he turns the corner where he's most isolated, and then he sees me do the illegal action of lockpicking, which makes him follow me into the room where no one goes so I don't have to hide the body. I go deep into the room and I don't take out my gun until I want him to stop walking. I run up close to him because when he gets shocked, his head dips down a little bit. That caused me to miss a bunch and shatter the glass of the door of the room. Now here's the problematic part of this run. I tried distraction shots in different places and coins, but the enforcer here would always see me. I just got lucky this time and he didn't. I'm about to jump out the window and go down a floor where I'll see the guy whose disguise I took in my final run. On my way up, I panicked him with 2 shots against the wall so he would leave the balcony. I got lucky with this timing and he's just about to leave while I arrive. As soon as he turns his head to the right, I can go. I quickly run up behind and grab him before he's visible to the people in the other room. On this run, I don't need his disguise, but I close the door so no one sees it. I run around the edge of the wall to avoid the camera. I've been constantly trespassing since I jumped through the window at the beginning of this run 3 minutes ago. The 2 staff members I distracted on my final run are standing in the middle of that roof. They just don't see me though. If I kept running, I think it would have been possible to get past those guards, but instead I wait behind them and pass them later. I also have to wait for the camera to pivot to the left. I run downstairs and I move that guy out of his chair to get ready to drop the chandelier on the target. I dropped it on the target's guard though. If that shot had worked, I would have ran to the exit, but I don't think it would have been faster than what ultimately became my final run. I made more attempts at this route, but they kept failing because of the one guy that's an enforcer. I'm not wearing a disguise, but he would be an enforcer if I was. He's located right under the stairs, and it's not always him that sees me, but a lot of times when I didn't get seen by someone else, he would see me. He has a couple different positions in a triangle that he rotates between, and he's never in a very convenient place. Instead of throwing a coin if I shoot, he hears the gunshot directly above him and then starts walking up the stairs to investigate. I briefly had the idea that I could panic him on my way into that floor to remove him from that area when I'm coming down, but it turns out the target is going up those stairs exactly at that moment, so it sends the target into lockdown and that makes the run untenable. In my next attempt, I changed things up and ended up doing what ultimately became the second half of my final run. I still went after the 3rd floor target first, leaving the chandelier target to the end, but I didn't have my chandelier idea yet and the target wasn't in the right place for it if I did him second. You can see that he's in his phase where he's outside in the open. This wasn't an honest attempt at stealth, but if I could take him out without being seen, I could drop his body off the edge and he wouldn't be found. I experimented a bit with who sees me from these different angles, and then I tried different shots to distract them in advance. There was a lot of them though, they were weird angles. Especially since this was the end of the run, it felt like it would be pretty annoying to try to get it to work reliably. Here the guns were green and I thought maybe I had it, but I realized people on the lower level would see me too, and that's when I moved on to something else. Finally, here's the run where I go down to the basement to get the poison, which I thought I might put in the target's food. There's not so many people and guards in the basement, but I come down here often in Freelancer, so it was interesting to find a route where I don't get seen. I shoot 2 shots on that wall to distract a pair of guards that would intercept me after I take the poison. This shot was a funny angle because the guard is looking so directly at me, but he doesn't see me. After grabbing the poison, I make my way over to the stairwell that I used after dropping the chandelier in my final run. The stairwell that leads to where that guy's sniffing the plant. My idea was it would be faster to do the target on the 3rd floor, then come back down and hopefully catch the chandelier target on their way to their food. The way that I get up to the 3rd floor is the same as in my final run. After this distraction shot, I'm on the staircase that leads to the plant guy. Once I got to the 3rd floor, I saw the target was on the other side of the building. I didn't yet know how to handle them there, so I decided to poison the target on the ground floor first, to maybe have better luck with the 3rd floor target's timing. After getting the poison this time, I took an alternate route through the basement that has an annoying camera. You have to wait for the camera to be pointing fully to the left in order to open the door and shoot it. A guard hears you, but you can get by. I got seen by the camera and lost Silent Assassin, but I wanted to see what the timing was like for the food poisoning. I believe this kind of poison makes the target go to the bathroom. I would put it in the food, and on their next cycle around, they would eat it, and maybe I could catch them in a secluded area. I accidentally choked the guard instead of putting the poison in. But on a future run after poisoning the food, I was upstairs, and it didn't seem like the target ate from the correct dish. Also, taking the time for the poison put the 3rd floor target in a bad part of their cycle. I decided not to bother figuring out which dish to put the poison in. Next, I would make several attempts at the chandelier kill using the pistol, until deciding on the coin strategy. I put 3 shots into the plant, but the target saw people running out the door and ran himself. The timing on my next attempt looked good, but a non-target got hit with the falling chandelier as well as the target. Then I made the shot at the correct second on the game timer, but the target's route must have got intercepted because he wasn't there on time. Once I decided on the coin strategy and it worked, the timing for the 3rd floor target was good as well, and that became my final run. And I got it within a few attempts. Here's the highlights from that run. This run has a lot of action, and if you count all the failed attempts, there was so many rooms filled with people that were fun to navigate through. The hotel is pretty dense, and a lot of the environments feel the same, but it was a fun level to establish a run for. Thanks for watching.